Okay, I want to make a part 2 to the term star seed, chosen one, 144,000, light worker. I'm trying to think what else. Alien, anything like that, if you resonate with any of those terms. So there is a group of people right now who are here on the planet to help the planet ascend. We are in an ascension period right now. And that is what I've been told. So I'm a psychic medium and I channel with God. And what I've been told, and I also say they, and when I say they, it is my guides, I would say, but it's also because God is, even though I refer to God as he, God is technically a woman, but kind of like barely. And so God is genderless. And so the best kind of pronoun for God is they, when I'm referring to certain things. So I refer to God in many different ways. And I know that God does that strategically because, again, I'm here to like help people like open their minds and break the paradigms of reality. And so I'm using many different pronouns to describe God, which is really going to obviously upset Christians, but it's strategic by God because God needs us to open our minds and start to realize that a lot of things that are outside of here. And that's what a star sees, chosen ones, 144,000, anything like that. That you resonate if you carry Christ consciousness, if you are a psychic, if you're a tarot reader, if you're an astrologer, anybody like that, a spiritually awakened, tarot, crystal girlies, all of that. You carry Christ consciousness codes because that is what ascension is, and that's what the Bible. I keep stuttering when I say the Bible. The Bible has manipulated. So. They said, in the Bible, they say ascension is this very short thing that Jesus goes through all by himself where he descends into hell for 3 days. Actually, we're coming upon the time right now because it's Easter, where he descends into hell for 3 days and then he rises again and he defeats Satan and he goes and he gets to be in heaven with God. And he physically dies. And then Mary, I think it's Magdalene, I don't remember which Mary, sees him as a ghost, an apparition, right? After he died and like told her like everything's chill and whatever and stuff. Okay, so ascension is actually not that. So Jesus was not just one person. Jesus was multiple people. The disciples were actually tarot readers and astrologers. That's what I've been told. And psychics are kind of like the predictive type because Jesus predicted a lot of things. So there's a ton of psychics right now who are predicting things. We carry the predictive codes of Christ. There's people who carry his compassion codes, his stand up against systems of oppression codes, all these codes that, Christ embodied. It wasn't just one person because he actually, we had to shift the entire society because that's how ascension periods go. Ascension is a natural process of the earth where there's two cycles that earth goes through. It's ascension and it's descension. And ascension is reconnecting in our conscious awareness back to God, and descension is disconnecting from our conscious awareness from God, which is actually why we're in the worst parts of it, which is like what I say we all chose our own versions of hell. And so people have these, again, misconceptions about what hell is. They think it's a physical realm that you go to after you die, but no, it's actually what we experience right now, right before we ascend, which is ascension periods happen when we shift dimensions, which is also like when we shift ages. So we just shifted from the age of, it's either Pisces to Aquarius or Aquarius to Pisces. I don't know which one it is, but we shifted, ages. And that is when ascension occurs, when ascension starts to happen again. And then halfway through that age is when descension occurs. It always occurs. It's always going to happen because Earth is a school of polarity. It's a school of opposites. It's a school of learning and feeling and experiencing that in a human form, in our form. Now, in other planets, they're in different forms, right? We've heard about reptilians. We've heard about blue beings, all that stuff. I've actually been told that Earth was never intended to be what it's become. It was actually like a planet of where they just had the species, and they would take the species and they would go hybridize alien souls with the other species on other planets. And there was like this whole situation with the Anunnaki where during their dissension period on their planet, they came and they fucked with Earth actually, and they, seeded the mammalians or whatever it was with the hominid species down here with alien stuff, and they weren't supposed to, and all this stuff. There's a whole magical story with that I've been told personally. So for people who resonate with those terms, it's just people who are here to help ascend the planet. And we actually like do this in other time and space and other dimensions, and we only incarnate during ascension, and also I've been told descension periods, and that's what we are, star seeds, all this stuff. That's why we've struggled so hard to relate to this planet, because we're actually here to teach these people how to be humans, how to also evolve as a species, and what it's like on other planets. Which I think is so fucking funny. It makes so much logical sense to me, because I've always felt out of place here. I've always looked around like, what the hell is wrong with these people? Nothing makes logical sense. Things don't work right. I just feel like, and everybody just casually acts like it's not a big deal and all this stuff. And so for me, these psychic downloads have really answered a lot of like existential questions that I've had all my life. And so I'm really anchoring into this. But I think it's so beautiful, that this is coming around Easter time, because this is what, this is actually so symbolic of what's happening right now, is the Christian Easter, where Jesus descends into hell, fights Satan, and then rises again on Easter Sunday. I think he descends on Friday, right? And then that's what Good Friday is. I'm not the best. I was raised Christian, but I forget all the fun stuff about it, and now that I'm on this side and I've completely deconstructed Christianity and I kind of understand what's going on now, I see it does help you kind of view the Christian religion in such a beautiful aspect, because there is so much magic and beauty to it once you get past like the lies and the distortion. But that's where duality comes in, and that's what I believe an Ascended Master is. It's mastering the duality of the planet. It's mastering like the beauty in things, but also the roughness in things. And like, it's like, obviously Christianity hurt me and destroyed me deeply, and has done that for many other people. But now that we're going to heal and we really understand what's going on, you can really see the beauty in kind of like how humans kind of like make all these beautiful stories and create all these beautiful things, in life. And it's quite silly and like those kinds of things. And it's just so beautiful that we're now going through Ascension, and now we get to celebrate. So Easter for me, I think every year will be very special moving forward, because it's very symbolic of not only the process I've been through, because I've been going through a whole Ascension process this whole year, which is like a personal Ascension as a human being, let alone planetary, is like a whole, that's really my story, is sharing my story of Ascension. And it's way longer than 3 days. It was like a whole year and it was really 30-year process, was my whole descension and ascension process, which is part of my story, which I'm going to get into someday, which is why I feel called to start a church, because I have like this whole story to tell about how I became a psychic, and I went through Ascension, and that's how I learned about Ascension, and that's how I learned about all this information. And so Easter is so beautiful for me, because it's so symbolic of my own experience that I've been through as a psychic, as an Ascended Master, all of these things that I've been told. And I see so many of you also going through the same thing. So now we know that Jesus there isn't just one Ascended Master, there is multiple. And everybody's going through like a different version of their own ascension process right now, like who are starseeds. All lightworkers go through Ascension. It's your own version of hell, descension, and ascension, because you're ridding yourself of the matrix programming without any help. That's what really Ascension is. It's like getting out of the entire programming of the system that you're in without any assistance, except for your own dimensional awareness that comes from other planets. That's how we do it, guys. I know it's kind of a lot and it's hard to believe, but I think it makes a lot of logical, coherent sense. So anyway, I just think it's so beautiful, and happy Easter to everybody who celebrates it. I encourage you to hold a dualistic mindset. If it's been hard for you deconstructing your Christianity, there is beauty to it. I promise you'll see it someday. I never thought I'd be on this side of things, but here I am. It's a miracle, a Christmas miracle, but it's all gonna work out, guys. It's all gonna be good.